Hi there, welcome back. Strength isn't about muscles, money, or status. It's about discipline and the choices you make every single day. Yet there are 5 common behaviors that instantly make a man look weak. They seem harmless, even ordinary, but they silently destroy respect, authority, and trust. If you recognize them in yourself, don't take this as an insult. Take it as a warning. Because eliminating these behaviors is the first step toward building true strength and commanding respect. Let's uncover the 5 behaviors that weaken men the fastest, and how Stoic wisdom teaches us to replace them with power. So let's get started. 1. Excuses kill respect, blaming others instead of owning responsibility. Excuses are the fastest way to lose respect. When a man constantly blames others for his failures, he silently declares that he has no control over his own life. Saying, "It's not my fault," may feel comforting in the moment, but it erodes credibility and weakens character. People instinctively trust those who take responsibility, even for mistakes, because ownership signals strength. The Stoics taught that while we cannot control external events, we always control our response. Marcus Aurelius reminded us that the quality of our life depends on the quality of our thoughts, and those thoughts become words before they become actions. Blame is seductive because it protects the ego. It allows a man to avoid discomfort by shifting the burden onto fate, society, or other people. Yet this comfort is temporary. Over time, excuses create a reputation of weakness. Colleagues, friends, and even family begin to see the pattern. He avoids responsibility. He avoids growth. Respect disappears not because of the mistake itself, but because of the refusal to own it. The disciplined man does the opposite. He asks, "What can I learn from this?" He accepts responsibility, even when circumstances are unfair, because he knows that growth begins with ownership. Responsibility transforms failure into fuel. Excuses transform failure into a prison. If you want authority, if you want respect, eliminate excuses from your vocabulary. Every time you say, "It's not my fault," you hand away your power. Every time you say, "I will own this," you build strength. Respect follows those who carry responsibility, not those who run from it. 2. Pretending to know. Closing your mind with, "I already know." Few behaviors reveal weakness faster than pretending to know. The phrase, "I already know," may sound confident, but in reality it exposes arrogance and insecurity. A man who constantly insists that he knows everything closes his mind before he even listens. He confuses familiarity with mastery and information with wisdom. The Stoics warned that ignorance begins the moment you stop learning. Epictetus reminded us, "It is impossible to learn what you think you already know." When someone says, "I already know," what they are really saying is, "I don't want to grow." This mindset is dangerous because it blocks progress. Opportunities for growth often come disguised as repetition, as reminders, or as lessons from unexpected sources. The disciplined man understands that wisdom is not about collecting facts, but about refining character. He remains a lifelong student, willing to hear the same truth 100 times until it becomes action. Pretending to know also damages relationships. People quickly notice when you dismiss advice or refuse to listen. It signals arrogance, and arrogance erodes respect. A wise man listens carefully, even when he is familiar with the subject, because listening shows humility. Humility builds trust, and trust builds influence. The foolish man, by contrast, loses credibility every time he shuts down a conversation with, "I already know." True strength lies in curiosity. The man who admits he doesn't know everything gains respect because he shows courage, the courage to learn, to be corrected, and to improve. Pretending to know is weakness disguised as confidence. Admitting you don't know is strength disguised as humility. If you want to grow in discipline and authority, eliminate the phrase, "I already know," from your vocabulary. Replace it with, "Teach me more." That simple shift transforms arrogance into wisdom and weakness into strength. 3. Quitting before trying. Few words weaken a man faster than, "That's impossible." This phrase is not a reflection of reality, but of mindset. When someone declares defeat before even attempting, he exposes fear, laziness, and a lack of discipline. The Stoics understood that most limits exist only in the imagination. Seneca reminded us, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that they are difficult." To say that's impossible is often just a polite way of saying, "I am unwilling to pay the price." The danger of this behavior lies in its subtlety. It sounds rational, even cautious, but it is actually a mask for avoidance. By labeling challenges as impossible, a man protects his ego from failure. He convinces himself that he is wise for not trying, when in reality, he is simply afraid of effort. This mindset erodes respect because people instinctively admire courage, not avoidance. Authority is built by those who attempt, even when success is uncertain. Weakness is revealed by those who quit before the first step. Discipline transforms this behavior. The disciplined man does not ask whether something is possible. He asks whether it is worth the effort. He understands that growth comes through struggle and that most achievements are born from persistence. By attempting, he gains strength even if he fails. By refusing, he gains nothing but regret. The foolish man sees obstacles as walls. The wise man sees them as tests. Quitting before trying also damages relationships. Leaders, colleagues, and friends lose trust in someone who constantly avoids challenges. Respect is given to those who step forward, not to those who step back. Every time you say, "That's impossible," you shrink your own potential. Every time you say, "Let's try," you expand it. If you want to command respect, eliminate this phrase from your vocabulary. Replace it with, "I will attempt." Effort itself is a declaration of strength. The man who tries, even against the odds, earns respect. The man who quits before trying earns pity. 4. Fake indifference. Few phrases sound stronger on the surface yet reveal deeper weakness than, "I don't care." At first, it may appear bold, detached, even fearless. But in reality, this phrase often hides apathy, avoidance, and fear. The Stoics did teach indifference, but it was never empty indifference. They taught detachment from what lies outside our control, wealth, fame, or other people's opinions. Fake indifference, however, is something very different. It is the refusal to engage, the refusal to take responsibility, disguised as strength. When a man says, "I don't care about commitments, relationships, or responsibilities," what he is really saying is, "I don't want to try." This mindset erodes respect because people instinctively admire those who care deeply about their character, their integrity, and their duties. True indifference is wisdom. It is the ability to ignore what does not matter. Fake indifference is weakness. It is the inability to face what does matter. The danger of this behavior is that it creates a false image of toughness. A man who constantly says, "I don't care," may believe he looks strong, but others quickly recognize the pattern. They see avoidance, not courage. They see fear of effort, not discipline. Over time, this erodes trust. Friends stop relying on him, colleagues stop respecting him, and leaders stop considering him reliable. Respect is not lost because of failure, but because of the refusal to care. The disciplined man does the opposite. He chooses carefully what to care about. He ignores gossip, fame, and fortune, but he cares deeply about his actions, his words, and his commitments. He understands that caring requires effort, and effort builds strength. Marcus Aurelius reminded us that the value of a man is measured not by what he avoids, but by what he embraces with integrity. Fake indifference also damages personal growth. By saying, "I don't care," a man closes the door to improvement. He avoids feedback, avoids responsibility, and avoids the discomfort that leads to maturity. The wise man, however, welcomes discomfort because he knows it is the path to growth. If you want respect, eliminate fake indifference from your vocabulary. Replace "I don't care" with "I will face it." That simple shift transforms avoidance into courage. True strength is not pretending to be indifferent. It is caring about the right things and acting with discipline. 5. Transactional Mindset. Living only by "what's in it for me." One of the most destructive behaviors a man can adopt is living with a purely transactional mindset. the constant question of, what's in it for me? On the surface, this may appear practical, even strategic. But in reality, it reveals selfishness, short-sightedness, and weakness. A man who views every interaction as a transaction reduces life to profit and loss. He measures relationships by immediate benefit, and he evaluates opportunities only by personal gain. This mindset erodes respect because people instinctively distrust those who only take and never give. The Stoics warned against this narrow view of life. Marcus Aurelius reminded us, "What is not good for the hive cannot be good for the bee." In other words, what harms the community eventually harms the individual. A transactional man forgets this truth. He believes that extracting value from others will make him strong, but in reality it isolates him. Over time, people recognize the pattern. He contributes nothing. He invests nothing. He only asks, "What's in it for me?" Respect disappears because respect is built on contribution, not consumption. This mindset also weakens character. When every action is judged by immediate reward, discipline collapses. Effort feels pointless if it does not produce instant benefit. Commitment feels unnecessary if it does not guarantee profit. The transactional man avoids sacrifice, avoids service, and avoids responsibility. Yet sacrifice, service, and responsibility are exactly what builds strength. The disciplined man understands that true value lies not in what you accumulate, but in who you become through contribution. Living only by, "What's in it for me?" also damages relationships. Friends, colleagues, and partners quickly lose trust in someone who treats them as tools for personal gain. Respect is given to those who invest in others, who give without demanding immediate return. The transactional man may gain short-term advantage, but he loses long-term loyalty. The wise man, by contrast, earns lasting respect because he contributes to something greater than himself. If you want authority and respect, eliminate this mindset from your vocabulary. Replace "What's in it for me?" with "How can I contribute?" That simple shift transforms weakness into strength. Contribution builds trust, trust builds influence, and influence builds legacy. The man who lives only for himself shrinks into isolation. The man who lives for discipline, service, and virtue expands into greatness. Discipline over weakness. Final Stoic lesson. Weakness is not measured by muscles or possessions. It is revealed in the behaviors you repeat every day. Excuses, arrogance, quitting before effort, fake indifference, and a transactional mindset. These 5 habits silently destroy respect and authority. But weakness is not permanent. Discipline transforms it. Responsibility replaces excuses. Curiosity replaces arrogance. Courage replaces quitting. Integrity replaces fake indifference. Contribution replaces selfishness. Each time you choose discipline over weakness, you reshape your character. Marcus Aurelius reminded us that a man is shaped daily by his thoughts. Seneca taught that effort itself is meaning. Epictetus warned that ignorance begins when you stop learning. These lessons are not abstract. They are practical tools to rebuild strength. If today's reflections challenged you, let them be a reminder. Growth begins with awareness. And if you found value here, join us on this path. Subscribe to Stoic Horology to stay connected with more Stoic lessons. Like this video if it resonated with you, and share it with someone who might need the same reminder. Your comments also matter. Tell us which of these behaviors you've seen most often, or which one you've worked hardest to eliminate. Every action you take, watching, reflecting, sharing, becomes part of your discipline. Weakness is easy. Discipline is hard. But only discipline builds a life worth respecting. Walk with clarity, responsibility, and strength. And if you are ready to continue this journey, grow day by day with us here at Stoic Horology.